Jits TV here at the MMA Expo in Mississauga, Ontario with UFC lightweight Mac Danzig. Tell us about your jiu-jitsu journey. How did it all start? When did you first get involved in jiu-jitsu?
Well, my first experience in training any type of martial art or MMA was under a jiu-jitsu guy in Pittsburgh named Casey Leonard, and at the time, he was only a blue belt, but back then, this was like 1999. There was no one else around, and he's actually a really skilled guy. And I started training with him, did a lot of no-gi stuff with him, and from that, I just evolved the other skills that I needed and started doing MMA, and it just went on from there. But yeah, my foundation has always been no-gi jiu-jitsu.
And is that where you got your black belt as well?
I never did get a black belt. I never really went and got ranked or anything like that. Once I left and went on to California, I just trained for MMA like constantly and never really took classes or worked under anybody. So yeah, never got that ranking. So maybe one day, but for now it's just focusing on the MMA training, and jiu-jitsu is obviously a big part of that.
Awesome. So today, these days, where are you mainly working on your ground game and training? What are some of the training partners and teachers that you work with?
Yeah, some of the people I work with now are in Los Angeles. I was in Vegas for a while, so I was working with Drysdale and a lot of those guys, and right now I'm working with Jeremy Humphreys, and he's a black belt under Fabricio Verdum, and a lot of Fabricio Verdum's other students. I train with them, and Andy Wang as well, who's a black belt under Barrett Yoshida. So those are the guys that I'm doing a lot of my jiu-jitsu work with.
Talk about diet and training, because you've always been known to be one of the lightweights that has great cardio. You never, I don't think we've ever seen you gas in the octagon. So what is part of your secret in terms of preparation and in terms of diet? The changes you might make once you start training camp.
I think that. With me, cardio has always been really important. I think I had a decision loss a long time ago in 2003, and it was because I wasn't quite in the shape that I needed to be. So I always work on my cardio, and a lot of that is the hard sparring and the sprint work, plyometrics, all that type of stuff. As far as diet goes, I just clean it up. I already have a really clean diet, but I just clean it up even more once I get to close to fight time. So 6 weeks out, 4 weeks out, my diet is just like impeccable, and I feel like that's what you have to do in order to keep your cardio where it needs to be and be in peak shape.
Now, in your MMA career, you've had some great wins, over Joe Stevenson. That was probably one of your most memorable wins.
Yeah.
And most recently, you had a really close fight with Matt Wyman. You guys have gone at it twice now. Ideally, if you could choose your next opponent, what would you ideally, is there a particular opponent that you feel would be a great fight for you?
Man, I feel like there's so many guys in lightweight division. I'll fight anyone. I mean, I know it's like a generic answer, and it doesn't give people always what they want to hear, but really, man, I'll fight anybody. It doesn't matter. I'd like to fight. If I could pick, I'd like to fight a jiu-jitsu guy. Like that would be interesting. It seems like I'm always fighting guys that are like same style as me, like well-rounded, or wrestlers or something like that. But yeah, I'll fight anyone. Whoever they put in there, I'll go up.
But when it comes to jiu-jitsu opponents, you've been very successful against high-level grapplers as well. I know you fought Mark Bocek.
Yeah.
What was part of the secret in terms of how you dealt with his jiu-jitsu game?
I think the big thing with the Bocek fight, and it's the same idea that I apply to anytime I fight a jiu-jitsu guy, is I obviously love the grappling game, and I love the jiu-jitsu style, but I apply it with strikes. So I think that's where the difference is. If Bocek and I were competing in an Abu Dhabi style or no-gi grappling thing, it might have been a little bit different because he's not dealing with my strikes. and obviously he's very, very good. So it would have been a different type of matchup. But I like to apply all the jiu-jitsu techniques and the wrestling techniques and the countering with kneeing somebody really hard in the jaw, you know. So like that ended up working out for me. But yeah, man, that's what I pride myself on is adding the jiu-jitsu techniques to striking on the ground and stand up.
So looking back so far at your MMA career, you've had a lot of different fights against a lot of really notable competitors. Do you look back on one opponent or one fight as being one, you know, maybe your most memorable personally?
You know, honestly, I really like the Bojack fight. That was my first fight coming off the Ultimate Fighter win. It was my second fight in the UFC, but it was my first, you know, fight like leaving the whole Ultimate Fighter thing behind me. And you know, he's obviously an amazing opponent, and it was the first fight and the first Canadian pay-per-view, you know, that they ever had, and it was just awesome. That 3-round war that we had was like very, very memorable for me. It's one of those I look back on and I'm very proud of both myself and Mark. I think we fought a great fight.
And finally, when you're not training or preparing to fight, is there a hobby that you are, you know, that you love to do the most? Like, what do you love to do when you don't have to worry about MMA?
Yeah, well, like first and foremost, I spend time with my daughter because she's just my life, you know, and that's just like my number one. But in addition to that, I love nature. I love going on really long hikes and excursions, and I'll go really far deep into remote areas of the Southwest, and I do photography. So nature and landscape photography is something that really helps balance me out from living in a city and training all the time and that sort of thing. When I'm able to go out and be in nature, that's the best thing.
Hey, well, Mac, thank you so much for the time, and enjoy the rest of the day with the Expo.
All right.
I look forward to seeing you in the future in the UFC.
All right, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All right.